You are Locked On Mavericks Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Dallas, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, this is why we keep coming back. This is why we love this team, and this is why we tune in every single game. The streak is over. The Mavs get their first win of the year. They beat LeBron and the Lakers 118-97. Here we go. Welcome into the Mavs Postcast, your team every day, and in our case, your team every game. My name is Jeff Biggs. Thank you for watching Locked On Sports Dallas, your destination after every single game. You can also find us on the Locked On Mavs Postcast feed, and from big upsets to game-winning drives in the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Well, tonight, it was all about the win. The Mavs' 5-game losing streak is over, and as I said, they get their first victory of 2025 tonight, beating LeBron and the Lakers 118-97. And as I said, this is why we tune in. This is why we watch this team every night. This is why we love this team. And what a great win all the way around, from Jason Kidd and the coaching staff to all the players that were involved, including 7 Mavs players that knocked down a three-pointer tonight. We're going to get into all the numbers, let you know who did what. Also, this was the first victory for the Mavs without Luka and Kyrie after 10 games. They had lost 10 straight, 12 of 13 without Luka and Kyrie going back to 2023. But that streak is over. They were 0-4 this season without Luka and Kyrie. That streak is over. And again, the Mavs bounced back with a very impressive win after a back-to-back and the tough loss last night in Memphis. And they beat LeBron and the Lakers 118-97. Tell you what, look, I know that the Mavs were hungry and they wanted to win, but do you think that being back home on TNT national television and having LeBron and AD in the building, that was just maybe a little bit extra motivation for this game tonight? Not that they wouldn't have tried against anybody, but there was at least from the Mavs standpoint, there was a different level. I know on the television broadcast, they were saying that the Lakers weren't up for the game because they were playing the Mavs without Luka and without Kyrie. And that, that could be true. But I mean, you're the Lakers and you had a tough loss in Houston. You got to find a way to step it up and at least be competitive against the team that's playing without their 2 best players. And the Lakers made a couple of runs, but they are not a championship caliber team at all. Yeah, they have LeBron. Yeah, they have AD, but they don't have the defense. They don't have the depth. And yeah, they may make the playoffs this year in kind of a weird Western Conference, but they're not a championship threat at all. But hey, the Mavs, they did step it up. A couple of things before we get into the numbers. What I really liked about tonight, aside from everybody stepping it up and having a great game, I love the fact that, for whatever reason, the second quarter has been a real issue for this Mavs team. We saw it last night. Remember last night in Memphis, they had that great start, 36 points in the first quarter, and then they just went ice cold in the second quarter, only scored 19, and that was pretty much the game. It was game over at that point, but not tonight. And it looked like, it might have gone the other way, but props to Clay. I mean, at one point it was 50-44 Lakers in that second quarter, and you're thinking, okay, here we go again. Here comes the cool down. Here comes the Lakers. But then the Mavs and some good shooting and persistent shooting by Klay Thompson, they ended up closing out the first half with an 11-0 run. And that really, I think, kind of set the tone. And then the Mavs came out and did a great job in the third to start the third quarter and outscore the Lakers in the third 34-26. And again, they really did it on both ends of the floor, putting the game away in the fourth with a 29-21 win in the fourth. And they end up winning by 21 points tonight over LeBron and the Lakers, 118-97. Very impressive win. A lot to like about this win. Good bounce back win. We'll get into all of the numbers, but again, the streaks are over. Love the shooting tonight. I love the ball movement. I love the intensity, the defense, the rebounding. Just a lot to love. And again, whether or not the Lakers were not up for the game or that they were playing down or that they, whatever. I mean, those are excuses. I mean, this is the NBA, and look, I'm not going to get into a LeBron rant here tonight. Maybe at some point over the season we can get into that, but I'll say this. LeBron James will go down with, obviously he already has all the numbers. He will go down as the greatest statistical player in NBA history. He will go down as the leading scorer. He passed Dirk tonight for games played. So all the stats will belong to LeBron James when he eventually retires. But is he the greatest of all time? Or to me, not even close. I mean, he's in the mix. I mean, he's in that elite group because of his longevity and because he's been able to play at a high level. But again, you're Michael Jordan, you're Kobe, you're Wilt, you go down the list, Bill Russell. I mean, you can't lose games like this, and you can't get blown out by 21 points. And I'm not saying it's all his fault. I mean, clearly you got to have players around you, but I'm saying the LeBron in his prime would find a way to single-handedly carry his team to a win, and he's not that player anymore. He's still playing great. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape for 40 years old. His stat lines are good every night, but I mean, these are more about, longevity and stat numbers when, I mean, to me, the real numbers are championship numbers and winning titles. That's what the goal to me is when you're playing in this league, is to win the title and to win the trophy. That's what it's about. So anyway, and I have to say this, just the whole, and again, I'm not going to get into, we'll save that for another Laker Mavs game, but the whole Bronny James thing and just everything involved with that just is really left, just as a basketball fan in general, just kind of has left a bad taste in my mouth, and we'll leave it at that. But hey, let's talk about the Mavs, 118-97. And again, we want to hear from you. We had a great run from the comment crew leading up to the holidays, and then I know everybody got kind of busy during the holidays. I know, look, Nick and the crew, they're doing their thing, but again, we're teammates. We're not competitors. Nick and Isaac, and slightly biased, I mean, they have the best Mavs coverage in the business, right? And that doesn't change. They haven't changed anything. They're doing their thing every day, every game. They're going to be on in just a little bit. This show is just a little added, a little bonus coverage, if you will, postcast coverage, just to go with you live after the game. But one of the main reasons why we wanted to do it was to hear from you and to allow you to interact and to be a part of it. So please do. Please jump in on the comment section. We want to hear from you, want to hear your thoughts, hear your takes. So please do that. And again, the Mavs win tonight, 118-97 over LeBron and the Lakers. This is the Mavs Postcast. All right, we want to let you know, like we often do, about what is going on at FanDuel and everything that they've got going on right now. We talk about them a lot, and rightfully so. FanDuel, from big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets and same game parlays and so much more. All you have to do is visit the website and share betting lines around your team or league. Again, just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, welcome back to the Locked On Mavs, or the Mavs Postcast, as we call it here, after the Mavs get a huge win tonight over the Lakers, 118-97. And again, for all the things that have been frustrating and disappointing and all of that, there's a time to be critical and a time to point things out. But then, you know what? When you have a game like tonight, when everybody steps up and everybody plays well collectively and they do a good job, you got to give them credit for that. And my hope is that coming out of this game, that, this group, because look, it looks like they're not going to have both Luka or Kyrie at least until the end of the month or into early February. We hope. It could be longer, could be one back before the other. We'll see. But unless something happens where Kyrie, has some good healing, and I know he is spoken out about his faith, and I hope he will be healed. I believe that can happen. Absolutely, I have faith of my own, and absolutely that can happen. But just in case, the bottom line is that this group of players, they're going to have to not only play together, but they're going to have to win together. They're going to have to learn how to win together. And so my hope is, sometimes you just, you're in a stretch of 5 games, you're losing, and you're trying to find a way to win. And then you start to press, and then you're maybe taking shots that you normally wouldn't take, and you're thinking too much. And then all of a sudden it just snowballs and gets worse and worse. Well, on the flip side of that, you get a game like tonight, and hopefully that will kind of pop that balloon, take some of the pressure off. And now you got a little stretch here of some breathing room. You have Portland on Thursday, a couple days off to improve and to practice some more before a matinee on Sunday with the Nuggets, who are getting underway right now with the Celtics. No Joker tonight in that game. And then the Nuggets stay in town, and you play them again on Tuesday night. So an opportunity here. But what I just going down the list, look at the numbers tonight. 7 different Mavs knocked down a 3. All right. We talked about Spencer Dinwiddie, number 1, the other night. He ended up with 19. I wasn't sure in the game last night in Memphis. Spencer got off to a good start, knocked down a couple threes in the first quarter, and then he kind of cooled off and really didn't have any kind of an impact in the game until a couple of shots late, but the game was out of reach. Well, he started tonight. Jason Kidd started tonight, and again, I think it goes back to what what I've been kind of hoping for, and I think we got a glimpse of it tonight, is that, look, I mean, you're Spencer Dinwiddie. You're kind of the vet now on this team. You're the vet. You're the guy that can kind of run the offense, kind of get the team set up, kind of keep the team, kind of coach the team on the floor. And we saw some of that tonight. That was great. I think, hopefully he will be able to do that on a more consistent basis. But he ended up with 19 points in 35 minutes, had a three-pointer, but had 6 rebounds and 8 assists. So a very productive game for Spencer Dinwiddie. Klay Thompson had some misses, and I know, man, Klay has been he's been taking some hits on social media. A lot of fans, not all of them, but some fans have kind of thrown in the towel, and they've already made up their mind that Klay is done and that he's not going to be the guy that the Mavs hoped that he would be when they signed him. I'm not there yet. I know it's tough. It's tough to see a lot of those wide open misses, but I still think, before you make any of those decisions, you gotta let him get in the groove with Kyrie and Luka, and just kind of let the team run and operate the way that it was intended to. But even with all that aside, I mean, I thought Klay tonight, despite some misses, what I love about Klay is, rather than just continue to launch threes, he does a great job of finding a way to get his points in other ways, or better yet, he'll find a way to pass the ball or dish it off to somebody else. And he does a great job with that. I love the way that he finds a way to be productive, even if that deep ball is not falling for him. And that's a good quality on his part. Derek Lively, you know what? He's been in kind of a funk. He's had that hip issue, and he's been trying to kind of get his game back. And, to his credit, while maybe he's not in that groove that he was before he missed a few games, ended up with 7 points and 6 rebounds, but I thought was very, very athletic on both ends of the floor. Has done a very good job. I mean, tonight he had 3 assists. So, I mean, he's doing a very good job of not forcing the issue. But again, if there's a teammate nearby or there's a way to give it off, he's doing that. Had some big, impactful rebounds. And again, they're playing tonight without Daniel Gafford, who is probably going to be out for a bit with that sprained ankle. So that was very good. Najee Marshall, who got off to a great start, was kind of quiet tonight, but still knocked down a 3 at one point, ended up with only 7 points, but his shot wasn't there, but he had some key rebounds, also had a couple of assists, and was still, active, and a guy that you have to have to be mindful of on the floor. And really, it was a great, I thought, all-around game for PJ Washington. 22 points in 39 minutes with 8 rebounds, had a steal, and knocked down 3 threes, 3 of 3 from beyond three-point line for PJ. And it seemed like most of those shots that he knocked down were big shots and important shots, and did a really good job. And then you look at the bench. How about the Mavs bench? 50 points tonight for the Mavs bench, led by Quentin Grimes, who was the leading scorer in the game for the Mavs with 23, including a season-high 6 3-pointers, and ended up with just a monster night. 23 points off the bench for Grimes in 29 minutes. Also had 9 rebounds and 6 assists, and it was just a great all-around game for Quentin Grimes. And that's one of those things too, where you just don't know when he's going to get hot or what kind of quarter he's going to have. And we saw him have the big third quarter the other night, but it was nice to see him kind of get going early. And I tell you what, you look at Grimes and both Najee, and the two of them, I think that's one of the reasons why I've been kind of or at least I was initially before this 5-game losing streak. I was excited about maybe the opportunity without Luka and Kyrie. Trying to see the positive was I wanted to see more of Najee and Quentin Grimes, and it just be, for example, along with everybody else, but those two in particular, because I think they both have tremendous upside, and this is an opportunity for them to really show that and bring that out. And I think we're gonna see that here coming up here in the month of January over the next couple of weeks. I hope so. But man, if look, I know there's a difference when guys start and when they don't start, and that's why starters are starters and reserves are reserves, right? I get that, but I still think there's room for more and more consistency from those two, and I really do. I hope that we get to see that. But Quentin Grimes was excellent tonight, and that's the kind of Quentin Grimes that, if the Mavs are going to win a title, that's the kind of effort that they're going to need more often than not from Quentin Grimes, especially in the playoffs. So that was good to see. How about Jaden Hardy? If Mark Followell was doing the broadcast, not TNT, he would have called it the Hardy Party. But 3 threes, 15 points in 22 minutes for Jaden Hardy. Had 3 rebounds, a couple assists, but I thought did a very, very nice job. Kind of didn't really get into the game a little bit later, but man, found a way to make a real impact in a hurry, and that was really good to see. Man, I mean, if they could get consistency and semi-regular contributions from Jaden Hardy, I mean, what a blessing and bonus that would be. And even though Maxey and Omax didn't do a ton, Maxey had 5 and Omax had 3. I thought, hey, give it up for Maxey. He did knock down his one and only 3. He was I think 1 of 10 or something coming into the game tonight before that shot, number 1. And number 2, how about that dunk that he had at one point? That was great to see as well. So props to him. He like I said last night, I mean, he's smart. He's an asset defensively, but he's got to be able to bring something to the floor offensively to not be a liability. Because if not, I mean, if he's not scoring at all, then teams are just going to leave him alone, and that's not going to work. But again, all the way around, the Mavs, they needed to step up. They needed to come out with energy, especially on the second night of a back-to-back. You figured LeBron and the Lakers and AD would have really been motivated after a tough loss on Sunday night when they were basically blown out until they made a run late in the game in garbage time to make it close and almost came back. So you figured the Lakers would want to really, after a couple of days off, or at least one day off, they would want to step it up and get out of Texas with a win. But hey, the Mavs found their groove at the end of the second quarter, and they didn't let up and just went all the way and got it done, 118-97. All right, when we come back, again, we're gonna hit the comment crew when we come back. So hang on, don't go anywhere. We're gonna hit the comment crew. Also, I have some since it is a TNT game, I got a couple of Charles Barkley memories for you when we come back as well. But the big story of the night, the Mavs blow out the Lakers 118-97. This is the Mavs postcast. All right, got to tell you about what's going on over with Prize Picks and what they're doing, because basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or you just have some friendly competition, Prize Picks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how it works. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. So you think somebody's going to score 30, or maybe somebody in the Mavs is going to have more than 8 assists. Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is, all in just 60 seconds. I know a lot of people that have been using Prize Picks all season, and they say it's addictive. So again, that's the kind of action. You can pick Jason Tatum for a game, Anthony Edwards, whoever, and if they score like you think they're going to score, that's the kind of action that they're talking about. And with Prize Picks, flex pay option, even if one of the picks doesn't hit, you can still double your money. I mean, that's pretty good. Plus, you can get your money fast, sometimes as quick as 15 minutes. It is honestly the best way to keep the game exciting. Now, the perfect time to join is right now. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, the Mavs, they win tonight, 118-97 over the Lakers. We're going to go to the comment crew. Want to thank Pomelo. Hey, shout out to you, Pomelo. Said loves the comment crew nickname. And let's go postcast. Hey, thank you, Pomelo, for that. Appreciate you jumping on board. I mean that sincerely. Again, we're here for you, and this show is really for you. It's not Nick, Isaac, slightly biased. Nothing changes. Their coverage is the best, and they're with you every day. They're going to be on here in just a little bit. Think of this as just bonus coverage live right after the game ends. That's what we're here for. And again, the comment section, this is for you guys. I'm a long time sports radio host. Used to be Jim Rome's regular fill-in, and I've worked at Fox Sports Radio, ESPN, NBC Sports Radio. And so think of this as instead of the calls, and someday we should have like video calls or audio calls, right? That would be fun. But in the meantime, we got the comment section here, and this is your way to jump in. I don't want to butcher your name, but it's Lolim Funny or LOL, I'm funny. That's probably the correct way to say it. Quentin Grimes needs to be a starter. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, we've seen the different lineups that Jason Kidd has interacted and has used. The interaction is going on. So hey, wouldn't surprise me if we see Quentin Grimes get a start here coming up. Whatever, and I was going to say this before, and forgive me, I meant to earlier, but here's the thing. Sometimes you see this happen in the NFL, right? You'll have coaches that are criticized for, they have their system, right? And sometimes instead of coaching the players they have, they just coach the system. And what do we always hear? We hear that the good coaches coach their players, not it's not about the plays. Yeah, the plays are nice, but the real coaching is coaching the players you have, right? And so what's going to happen here now for Jason Kidd and this coaching staff, they've got to figure out, look, Luka's not going to be back until the end of the month, all right? And it's January 7th, so you still got at least 3+ weeks with some big games coming up, right? We don't know about Kyrie, but for Jay Kidd and the staff, right? I mean, they got to figure out a way. They have to figure out how to get this group to win, and they got to figure out, what are the best things for Quentin Grimes to do? What are the best ways to get him going? What are the best ways to get Najee going? How can we get more easy baskets underneath for Derek Lively? How can we get him going in a double-double? How can Spencer Dinwiddie run the offense better? What can we do to make him hit the paint and draw out? And so all those things. So it's almost, I want to say it's like starting over, but now without Luka and without Kyrie, now it's a whole different, whole different game plan, a whole different way and scheme and attack. And that's what, Jason Kidd and the crew are going to have to do to figure out how to get this team winning, because you don't want to keep losing like this. You don't want to have these extended 5-game losing streaks. I mean, tonight, the Mavs had not won this year in 2025, and they finally get it done tonight. So that is something to see, and I'm curious to see what the lineup looks like on Thursday night. Also, I'm hoping we'll have maybe some kind of an update then on Kyrie Irving. I think also we'll know a little bit more about Daniel Gafford and his situation. And again, I mentioned this earlier last week, actually. Hey, right now, all eyes are on February 6th and the NBA trade deadline. And my man, Brian Windhorst, reported today that according to his sources, nobody has been blowing up the phones talking trades more than the Mavs. So I said this the other night. Nico, he's going to try. And look, we know. If we're talking about it and we're pointing to the 6th and we're getting into it, Nico knows. And it's not a want to issue or a desire issue. It's a matter of, can you get somebody else to make a trade that you can win while also making your team better? And that's the goal. And it's oftentimes a lot easier said than done. That's why you don't see, you see trades, but you want to make sure that you win. And Nico has done that. He did it last season, and he can do it again. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. I think, as we get closer to that deadline, I think there are going to be quite a few teams that are going to have to make that painful admission that, hey, you know what? We are not as good as we thought, and we are not a championship contender. And I'm not sure if this current roster that we have is ever going to be a championship contender. So it may be time to kind of unload and get ourselves in a position to make some moves in the offseason. So anyway, hey, Pamela, thank you for your comment there as well. I appreciate it. And so really quickly, a couple of quick Charles Barkley notes since he did the game tonight at TNT. I first met and first interacted with Barkley the season after his rookie season. My best friend Mike and I, we were on Maui in Lahaina, and we ran into Chuck on a Friday night, and he was like even more wired and more hyper than he is now. He was super slim. Like, you wouldn't believe how slim he was. Go back and look at the film, his rookie season, but he was great. And so fast forward to his career. And I remember one night in the locker room, I think it was after a game, I think with the Clippers, and it was towards the end of his career with Philadelphia. All right. And we were in the locker room, and back then in my 20s, I used to wear a diamond stud earring in my left ear. I don't wear that anymore. Nothing like the feather that Kyrie had tonight, but I had this diamond earring, and I remember we were in a scrum around Charles, and sitting next to him was Rick Mahorn. Rick Mahorn was this was post Detroit, so it was after he was a member of the Bad Boys, and Mahorn is sitting next to Barkley, and they're answering questions, and then out of nowhere, Chuck gets up, and he didn't grab my ear, but just kind of put his finger on it and said, "Hey, Rick, look at that diamond." And they were laughing. It was like the funniest thing ever, looking at my little tiny diamond earring back in the day. So that was number one. And then here's a little note. I know for some of you that are younger, back in the day in the 80s and in the 90s, I got started in the mid to late 80s. And I want to mention too, my dear friend and brother, Michael Thompson, was at the game tonight. And of course, he's Clay's dad. And I know, Michael has never been, he's a great dad. And I know for a fact, I guarantee you that probably didn't get to spend any time today because the Mavs played a back-to-back last night. And so, Clay was sleeping today to catching up after getting home late last night. But guarantee you they had a few minutes on the floor. But I'm sure it was good for Clay to see his dad, and I'm sure that kind of fired him up, to come out and play the way that he did. And so, anyway, that was I meant to mention that earlier. So back to my final point. I know I got to wrap up here, but so back in the day, in the mid to late 80s and early 90s, all the big superstars in the game. Michael, Magic, Chuck, Larry Bird, whenever they would come into a city, right, on the road, they would hold court before a game. They would make themselves available before the game for the opposing media, right? I mean, to be honest with you, nowadays the NBA locker rooms are still open before the game, but most of the players know exactly when that is, and they're not there. Teams try to make up for it by making sure that they talk after games or once in a while after practice, but it's not like it used to be. The big time stars would hold court. So after Barkley went to Houston, and you can Google this, but it was after an incident during the preseason where, I don't know if you remember this, but he was with the Rockets and he was at a club in the preseason, and he was with I want to say Clyde Drexler was with him, and he was with these girls, and there were some guys that were drunk and kind of harassing them, and they were throwing ice at the table. And long story short, the story has kind of morphed. I mean, it originally started as, and this was back in, again, this was in the 90s, that the story was Chuck threw a midget through a plate glass window. Well, I mean, now you can't say midget anymore, but the guy involved was not a midget or a short person or a little person, I think is what they call them now. But he was very short, not officially a little person, but he did throw the little guy through the glass. Well, during this media session before a game one night, right? I mean, Chuck was sitting there in the locker room, and there was about 4 or 5 of us around him, and that the whole story went from, "Hey Chuck, why did you do that? What do you think of that?" And he flipped it around into, "Man, if you guys only knew the stuff that MJ did, but you guys give him a free pass." And I mean, imagine, here I am, early 20s, and you got Charles Barkley just dishing on Jordan, talking about how, there was all this stuff that we in the media had no idea what was really going on. And it was just an incredible moment that I was glad to be a part of. And of course, there's so many other great stories, his MVP season with the Suns, the fight that he got into with Shaq, which was, I mean, just, and of course now he's doing that. So, hey, John R., I got your comment. We got into the game. Because it was a TNT game, I was just sharing a couple of Charles Barkley personal memories. But I'll end this though, John. the Chuckster guaranteed a Laker win tonight before the game, and he was completely wrong, and he had to eat a little crow on the post-game show with Erna. So 118-97 the final as the Mavs win big. All right, hey, I want to thank you guys for coming back and responding. John will be with you if you want to jump in Thursday night. I'll be back with you after the game. Again, I know Nick and the crew, they're coming up here in a bit. They're going to be doing their thing, but want to thank everybody for tuning in. Also, thank you to those of you that don't listen live, but you make a point to catch us at your convenience when you can. Appreciate that very much. Love what you guys are doing. Have a great night. Enjoy this win. Let's hope that the Mavs can build on it and keep it going. Take advantage of this homestand. Get a little revenge against a Blazer team that had a big game in Portland. Time to beat them here in round 3 coming up on Thursday night. Once again, the final score, the Mavs 118, the Lakers 97. Have a great night. Talk to you on Thursday. This has been the Mavs Postcast.